touring keeps you out the city, keeps you out the country. And, being a producer and you got a deal, they're going to want you to be in these rooms. So, like I took your advice, man. 2017, that's when I quit all my gigs except for Stevie. So, I remember you telling me like, yeah, man, you're going to go through the whole process because it's going to be like you're brand new in the industry. I took one piece of advice from Timbaland, which I just recently worked with him 2 weeks ago for the first time, which was an epic experience. But one thing I took from him that he said decades ago, man.
Real quick, if you're new here, welcome to the TrevBeats Show. Make sure you subscribe if you want to stick around. And for the regulars, if you ever feel compelled to throw some extra support our way, check out the membership options next to the subscribe button. It's strictly for those who want to help us do more, but your viewership is support enough. Now back to the show.
TrevBeats Show, TrevBeats Show. TrevBeats Show, TrevBeats Show.
Welcome back to the TrevBeats Show. So today we're joined by a literal powerhouse. Like, a lot of people play, a lot of people got chops, a lot of people have pocket, but this guy has it all. And it's nothing but fitting that he would work with one of the greatest artists alive in history, Mr. Stevie Wonder. Now, if you've watched Stevie and gone to a show in the last, 10, 15 years, you've absolutely seen my guest today. And without further ado, I want to introduce the incredible Mr. Stanley Randolph. Welcome to the show, man.
How you doing? What's up, man? Look, the headphones just kicked on right now.
Oh, hilarious, bro. That is hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Still sound good, though. Yeah, man. So what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Well, I'm great, man. I'm excited. Still riding the high from this Grammy win.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I did a bunch of cool sessions, cool meetings. Yeah, it's been great, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about that. So for those of you that don't know, Stanley is fresh off his Grammy win with the incredible Mr. Durand Bernarr. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and
Leon Thomas too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I did Leon Thomas and
Come on, man. With old Rob over there, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's what's up, bro. Y'all, you killed it this year, man. Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, bro, listen. It's a blessing to even be in the conversation, and it's always cool to be recognized by your peers, and somebody got to win. So, you know what I'm saying? And that record's crazy, bro. That record, he's a phenomenal artist, man. My wife and I got hip to him years ago. It was like a cypher on an award show. I want to say maybe the BET Awards, and he just bodied everybody. Like, who is this guy? He just destroyed.
Yeah, that dude's amazing.
Yeah, man. So that's awesome, bro. So, I mean, let's talk about Stevie because, that's a close family connection to me. And, I did do the gig for a while, but to see, you coming in the heels of the great Jerry Brown and really being there, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how does it, you were kind of young, right? You were like about 23 when you went over to Stevie's?
I was. Yeah, I was 23, bro.
So how long had you been in LA? First of all, let's tell everybody where you're from and all that. Give a little background.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Born and raised. Pretty much I was there until I was 22, 23-ish. And then I moved to LA. Took a bunch of trips to LA when I was 21 and 22 just to check out the scene. And then randomly in the year 2006, November, either October, November, me and my band, this band I used to be with called New Genesis, we're all from Memphis. We just packed up and left, man. We made a decision in November. It's like, we're moving January 2007. And that's what we did.
And the great Brandon Brown's in that band, yes?
Correct. Brandon Brown passed the funk. Yes, sir.
Come on. That's right.
That's my brother. We've been knowing each other since elementary school, bro. His mom was actually my kindergarten teacher.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And they're locking.
So we've been.
You can hear it, bro. As soon as you hear
Yeah.
you hear that all day, man. That lock thing is bass and drums. When you get a lock, man, it's a special thing. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure.
So you come to LA, and then obviously you're doing some gigs. Some of the other gigs you did, I know you did Christina Aguilera and a whole bunch of other gigs leading up to this. And how did it go? Getting in the arena, not the arena, but the atmosphere of the Stevie camp. How did that work? Was it an audition or was it a recommendation, or how did that?
It was a recommendation, man, from Chris Johnson and Teddy Campbell. Teddy was doing it at first,
right?
But I think that's also around the time that American Idol started,
right?
So Teddy was heavily busy with Ricky Minor, so they started that show.
Yeah,
Chris Johnson did it a few times, but I also think at the same time Chris Johnson was playing for Seal. I remember after his child was born, he came back for like maybe 2 weeks, and then Seal called him out. But as far as getting the gig, it was a recommendation from both of those guys, man, Chris Johnson and Teddy Campbell.
Yeah, man. Well, that's straight. That's a great way to be recommended. I mean, the lineage was basically like Jerry left, and then I came for a few years, and then after I left, in the middle was this guy Franklin Vanderbilt. Franklin?
Okay. I've heard the name. I never met him, though.
He played it for a while, and then Teddy came, and then, the whole thing, Teddy and Chris, and then you. And then you came, and it was like, that's what I've been looking for. That's the fit.
Yeah, that was it. That was it, man.
Your style of playing, I mean, I know you are also a consummate example of what the music dictates, because you really went your way to get in that vocabulary and, you know what I'm saying, and adopt some of those instincts on those records, and even some of Stevie's instincts. And then sonically, you went for the double kit hybrid thing, which no one had done on that gig before. And that just took it to a whole nother level of authenticity. So, it's so many songs in there, that he could call any time. I remember when I did the gig, I said, well, what we playing, Nays? That iPod you got with all them songs? Yeah, any of those. So, like,
any of those, right?
How did you go about, shout out to Uncle Nate, how did you go about just getting your mind wrapped around that huge discography of songs that he could call at any moment?
Man, it was honestly, it was a show by show, year by year thing. Because after the audition, they gave me the same iPod, and they had some like 300 some songs on there, man. And it was like impossible to learn everything within a week and a half. So
sure,
I learned the main songs. Because I went and watched Chris Johnson play the show like 3 times. So I remember writing down those songs that he did at those shows, and I learned those songs for the most part. But those are the hits that he's gonna do no matter what.
Yeah.
So I pretty much learned those. And the way Stevie is, man, he's been playing those songs forever, man. He didn't want to play them in sound check.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So soundcheck was no help, man, because soundcheck, he come in writing a new record.
Exactly.
So pretty much I was learning the gig on the spot. And Stevie's so free with it, he doesn't like to rehearse so much. But I understand, he's been playing those songs for God knows decades.
Exactly.
So I think he liked the fact that it was fresh, so like I remember he told me before, if you mess up, man, mess up loud and do it again. Because it's just, I guess it made the music new to him all over again with me having a new approach. So
let me pause you on that, man, because see, that right there is something that is getting lost on this generation. Everybody's so worried about competing with the machine and trying to be perfect. Now, I've heard stories of that exact same thing being told to Herbie by Miles, that exact same Herbie telling to the band, and it keeps going on. And there's another genius, Stevie. See, the people that are the real ones, they're not worried about one little mistake. It makes the music human. They're not, people don't need to prove anything. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
You know what I'm saying? He wants you to be you. He wants Stanley to show up.
Yeah.
What's Stanley on tonight? Not what we did 20, already. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's genius, man, that you would mention that, because that mindset is something I keep seeing with all the greats. Like they want you to be you. You know what I mean? So all the listeners, the people trying to get into this business on whatever instrument, make sure you have you too, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. You can never go forward unless you take a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you start rehearsing. I mean, you start playing with Steve. Obviously, that gig gets you in all these crazy rooms and places that no idea about. So you decide, okay, this is somewhere I want to be, right? And now it's been how many years now?
Man, since 2009. So what's that?
Woo, man, crazy.
Yeah, it's 2009. I got with him.
Wow, it's just that went fast, Stanley. Golly, bro.
Super fast, man.
Wow, man.
Super fast.
That's unbelievable.
Super fast, bro.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, bro. Like, you literally have made that gig. That is your gig, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, I think that's important. And, I think it's your roots as a drummer are very important, and you've definitely made a name for yourself. I understand there might be a little change that's happening now that you might want to talk about. You know what I mean? If it's
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm you hearing it first, because I haven't even made the announcement. So you getting it first, man. I'm going back home originally to Pearl Drums. I'm going back to Pearl Drums, man. And I'm excited about it. They got some new gear that I'm excited to play. And everything is different now. The staff and the politics, everything with that is way different now. And it's some dope, heavy, young hitters that they have on the roster now, that are just incredible. And I'm glad to be a part of all of that.
Crazy, man. You feel that energy, man. I definitely felt that energy at NAMM. I interviewed Calvin on the show, and then I had a chance to do a thing with Calvin last year and just check out his drums and the vibe. Sonically, I was like, man, these drums sound great now. It's like, it's a noticeable. So I think that's beautiful, man. Well, congratulations, man, on that. You know what I'm saying? And
Thank you, bro.
So is now just in talking about gear before we get off of drums, do you still employ the kind of old school and new school kit approach on this with, like,
Well, I've been thinking about, man, I'm past, I think the young me, if you guys look at the DVD, man, I had so many toms and so many cymbals and all of that, man. And after really going into this whole vibe of really capturing Stevie's sound by really going with the no bottom heads, I use way bigger cymbals now, really closer to rides. Because after really being in Stevie's studio, and he still has the same kit that he used from back in the 70s, man, that kit is so simple, man.
Right.
It's not a lot of stuff on that kit at all. And I think on this next tour, or this next run that we do this year, I want to simplify it even more. I'm thinking about going to just maybe like 2 ride cymbals and 1 crash. Maybe going with just the 12, the 14, and the 16, something a little more simple, and give it a little more retro look.
Yeah.
Along with the sound. So I think that's gonna be the new wave for his kit, because I ordered a few kits because I'm still playing with Tim's, the Afro
that's right.
Afrobeat artist.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So with her, I'm gonna have like a nice kit, a full kit. But with Stevie, I think I'm gonna go back old school, and just simplify it all the way.
Yeah, man.
And really lock in on that whole vibe.
That's dope, bro. That's super dope. And it's also cool that you got the flexibility of, not that you didn't have it where you were before, but I mean, it's always cool to rock with companies that rock with you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's people don't understand, like, this thing is not about, drum gang banging and cymbal gang banging. It's like sometimes people just want to, the youngsters always like, oh man, oh, it's like, man, sometimes people just want to change. You know, it might be
Yeah.
in business. It might be a change in sound. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with change, with having to change, man. So, you know, I mean, for you, you're actually going back home and it's a different situation. So, hey, man, it's going to be beautiful. And whatever you play is going to sound incredible anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's what's up, man. I can't wait to check y'all out, you know, coming up. But
yeah,
that's, you know, Stanley the drummer, we all know, and we all, but I really want to talk a little bit about Stanley the producer, because I know, and you know, for years I've been like, yo, bro, your production cat is, you know, come on, bro, it's crazy. Like I saw it right away. It was like, okay, it's gonna be an equal situation. This ain't just somebody that can make a beat here and there. No, this is production. Now, I think I first noticed when you was doing stuff with Amy Seacrest. Right? Is that the yeah? And I was like, uh-oh, he got some different.
Yeah, she was one of the first artists. She's actually from Tennessee as well. And she moved out here probably like 2 or 3 years after we did. She's also one of the first artists that I guess took serious and grew with as far as a producer. And, we actually did a lot of dope business together, and it's been pretty successful. Me and her working together for all these years. Me and her started back in like, we really started back in like 2014, 2015, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been a great, bro. We both learned in this industry together.
Yeah. That's dope.
So it's like, it's always something new every year with this industry, with the music industry.
So, and other people that you've worked with, you know, on the production side, I mean, did you do something with Pharrell? No, with will.i.am. Did you do something with will.i.am?
I did something. It was very short, but I used to have a room. Sony got me a studio. I was right next door to Keith Harris.
Oh yeah,
and yeah. So we used to see each other every day, man, and we ended up collaborating on some stuff.
Nice.
And I ended up doing some work with him and will.i.am. Yep.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, Keith is such a great guy, man. You know, another guy that, you know, has put so many people in position, you know what I'm saying? Really people, you know, especially where he's from in Chicago, man. And, you know, sometimes, man, people don't see what happens backstage and the back door stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like some people get on and they get these relationships and they hoard it. And they try to burn the bridge and the ladder, and they don't want to help anybody out. And other people say, "Hey, man, come on over here. Let me help you. Let me put a word in for you." That's what we need to do more of, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, Keith is one of those guys. But so okay, so now you're producing, and that's starting to go well. And then how does the connection with Durand Bernarr happen? How does that originally happen?
Well, man, you know, two things. Durand's father used to be stage producer or tour stage manager or something. He used to work with Stevie.
Oh, wow.
So I met him at a really young age.
Wow.
And he saw me even back then when I first worked with Stevie. I was working on my laptop making beats or, you know, try to make records and figure out stuff. He even saw me way back then. So he ended up hiring me and my band, New Genesis, to be Durand's band when he was way younger. I think Durand might have been 14 or 15.
Wow, that's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah, so I've been knowing Durand for a minute, you know, him and his dad for a minute. And I also produced this girl group that I created called God. And the girls and Durand are really great friends. And when Durand started working on his music, God, they were really heavy into this soul house vibe. And some of the stuff Durand wanted on that album Bloom, he wanted like a house, you know, house R&B, soul R&B type vibe. So he ended up calling me in.
Wow.
And I brought the girls with me. I also have a producer partner. Her name is Poe.
Okay.
She's amazing. An amazing artist and a great producer. So I brought her in with me as well. We all collaborated together and created those songs for Durand.
That's super.
So I've been knowing him for some time now. Yeah, for a minute.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. So it wasn't just like a cold meet, some connection. It's a real connection. So the fact that you with him together, that's got to be even more special. You know what I'm saying? So now you spent some time also being an MD, and I mean, you've done it all, bro, right? So I want to talk about the connection between being an MD and a producer, because in some ways they're kind of the same thing. They're kind of like
very much the same.
You know what I'm saying? You're over the vibe, right? So how do you bring those experiences together? You know, from MD to the studio and then vice versa. How do you do that? Because somebody like you with the output that you have to know how to work with people, right? So obviously you're successful in that. So what are some of your tips when it comes to that?
Well, I had some great teachers, man. One of my first teachers to really, show me how it's done, how to really work with the artists to make them feel comfortable, make sure they get what they're looking for, was Rob Lewis.
Oh, wow.
Seeing Rob Lewis, working with Rob, worked with him for years. Seeing him work with Christina Aguilera, Tony Braxton, and then, we did all the boy bands. We did New Kids on the Block, 98 Degrees, Boys the Band, Backstreet Boys. Like, we did all the boy bands.
Right.
So seeing him work with all these different artists, man, and they all were satisfied. He knew exactly how to produce and get them exactly what they want in a accurate amount of time. It didn't take him long at all. I learned with him, it's all about your team. It's who you pick and put on your team. Me being a drummer in that situation with them, I was also like the new guy. I was showing Rob, like, man, these the new plugins. Oh man, this is the new software with this gear, man. We can do this and we can do that, And I was that type of asset to his team, not only just the drummer, but a guy who could come in and help him. Christina Aguilera, one time she wanted to turn one of her hit songs into some type of hip hop remix. So, Rob, he doesn't specialize in hip hop. He's a great string arranger.
Right.
But he passed me the ball. He was like, yo, man, here's Christina's vocals and here's, some of the sounds, man. Take this and make it to something that, she would want to hear in the club or, people in the audience are going to want to dance to. So, being given those opportunities, I was able to, sharpen myself and even like work with him and then also get closer to her and talk to her. And she'd be like, yes, I like this. No, we should do this. Or no, we can do this better or whatever. It was that, that's when I realized like, yo, this is like being the producer in the room, you know what I'm saying? You working with the artists and you working with the writers and everybody, and they giving their ideas and their opinions. I'm giving my ideas and opinions, and we all coming together to make sure it's what we all love and agree on.
Yeah.
So, Rob Lewis, I give big ups to him. Like, he really trained me a lot with that. Like, that guy, I call him the moment man. He knows how to create moments for every artist, man. It's amazing. It's like, he pays attention to the audience, man. The reaction of the audience, he knows exactly how they're going to react. And even just watching him put it all together, down to the sound, the lights, the Pro Tools guy, doing playback, everything. He has his hand in every little piece on the whole show to make it like this epic thing. And I've watched him do it so many times. He was like, watch this, man. If we do this part right here, and then we got the lights and we got this, and you stand in the middle of the stage and everything else goes black and dark, and the crowd is going to go crazy. They're going to lose their mind. And just to see him do that for years, bro, and it's always accurate. I was like, man, I'm around some heavy hitters. He had a lot of great people on the team. Ethan Farmer.
Yep.
Amazing bass player. Freaking Michael Herring, Fish, the guitar player. Amazing. We had this playback guy named Crunchy. Kevin, I forgot Kevin's last name, but yeah, Crunchy. Amazing. I learned so much from Crunchy about his tools that he used to mix and to level. It was just a great camp to be in, man. I learned a lot. And Rob came from up under Ricky Minor.
Right. Yeah. It's
so, like he had a great teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
It's lineage, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And you
Yeah, for sure.
You hit the nail on the head. It's like producing live. And sometimes people don't realize too that these the great musical directors are part of the thing in its entirety. It's not just just dealing with the music. This is a shared vision that everyone is trying to bring together for the artist. So it's like it behooves everyone to try and just give as much to that vision as possible. So I see that you picked up stuff along the way, and tell me if you feel the same way. Over the years, with the way technology is going, I'm actually seeing it's less of a separation between MD and producer, because a lot of look at Thaddeus Dixon and all these people, you know, they're not, you know what I'm saying? There's not, it used to be a little more separate, and now it's kind of like understood, you know, that you can do both things. Like, it wouldn't be far-fetched for a producer to be an MD now. And back in the day, it was a little bit, oh, I just deal with this over here in the studio, but it's starting to change because I think of how the technology has moved and how we go about, you know, making things. And you're right in the middle of that change. So you know from the old school way and what's going on now.
Right.
You know,
right. I agree. I agree, because I even feel like that gap is closing even with the MD and the artist. Because when I first started, man, you know, like, there's a whole stereotype of, like, if you're in the band, then that's where the artist is going to keep you.
Right.
They're going to keep you as a band member.
Yeah.
But now these artists are actually taking chances and being like, oh, if I'm with you 4 to 5 months out the year, you know what I'm saying, and we on the road, I might as well create music with you too.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of artists, man, that I've seen, that I've worked with, they're quick to put you in that lane.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I've been that guy that was working with Christina or Tony Braxton, whatever. It was like, yo, check out this record, or check out this, check out that. And they were like, okay, they'll entertain it a little bit, but at the end of the day, they got their people that they know, this is who I'm using as my producer to create my records. Yep. You know, you're my drummer, so just stay my drummer. But now it's opening up a little bit more, where they're actually taking a chance to work with some of the guys in the band and create some records. Actually, Justin Bieber's band, Harv.
We the band.
Man, we the band. Yeah, man. They got some great records. They got some great records as a band. They also done some great production with Justin Bieber and other artists as well that they play with. So that, like, I'm happy for them to see how they're just rising to the top with that. It's amazing. Man,
I just discovered the other day that I actually judged Styx at the Guitar Center finals back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Like 2011. I didn't even know it. 2012.
Oh, wow.
And Diamond Johnson. Crazy, bro.
Oh,
Crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? So it's funny now. Okay, so what you just said is a lot, because it was definitely, like you said, it was definitely separate, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
And I developed something over the years called the 360 principle. And my thing was, if I meet you here, I'm going to work with you the other two ways. So if I meet you live, I'm going to write with you and record with you. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly successful at that with most of the artists that I work with. But you're right. I think now it's becoming more and more, because, first of all, let's not forget, we have more music being made than any time in history right now. So, you know, so artists have to feel that. And now even artists got the foot on their neck because they got people, you know, they got computers that's sounding like them. So it's like, I think more prone to, all we care is what happens when you press play. We don't care who it comes from. And I think that's where we're, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Oh, I need that. Like, no one cares about, it's like, oh, this is, I heard it and I want that. I don't care if it came from the tech. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right.
You know, well, techs might have a little harder time, but, you know, still, it's like, but still, you know, it's changing, man. So that's great for us as drummers, because, you know, they used to always look at us as not musical like that, as not songwriters and not, you know what I'm saying? So I love the fact that you now have Grammys, multiple. You know, you out here playing with the biggest artists. This is great for drumming, man, because think of the gap between a Narada Michael Walden and a Questlove. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of the gap between those two. You feel me? And then, you know, that person to whoever the next drummer was, and you know, it's like we don't have that many that's really doing it on a level, man.
That's true.
You're now in a very small company of actual real drumming. We can't forget L.A. Reid. but he switched
Uh-huh.
to executive mode, a little earlier. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really know him as a drummer. We don't remember him as a drummer, but it's like to have an actively cracking high-level drummer that's active still get Grammys at the same time. Stanley, that is a unicorn, bro. So
Yeah.
man, that's not no small feat, bro. Like that's big, man. So I got to just say again, congratulations for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, bro, I got to give you your flowers too, man. Like 'cause you was a part of that whole decision making, man. Because speaking of L.A. Reid and Tricky Stewart gave me my first deal.
That's right. I remember. That's right. I remember.
They gave me my first deal as a producer, and I remember, me and you sat down and we had a talk, and I was like, man, I'm doing great as a drummer. I got all these tours coming in, man, but I'm signed as a producer, and I keep getting these calls while I'm on tour to work with certain, opportunities to work with certain artists, man. And I keep missing them because I'm out on the road. And I remember you telling me, man, like, you're gonna have to pick.
Yep.
You're gonna have to pick. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible to do both. Touring keeps you out the city, keeps you out the country.
Yeah.
And, being a producer and you got a deal, they're going to want you to be in these rooms.
Yep.
So, like I took your advice, man. 2017, that's when I quit all my gigs except for Stevie. I gave all my gigs away to the new up-and-coming homies.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, y'all take this. Y'all need this experience. Y'all tour and travel and work with this artist and be a part of the team. And it worked out amazing for them. So, I remember you telling me like, yeah, man, you're going to go through the whole process because it's going to be like you're brand new in the industry.
Right.
So I went through that whole thing, like quit touring, and I was just sitting out here, surviving off of whatever royalty paychecks and placements and, church gigs and and local stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I went through that whole struggle doing that. But it was my best decision, man, which I thank you for. Like you and Nissan Stewart.
Yeah.
Eric Seats.
Yep.
People like that it really just gave me the push to be like, yeah, bro, you should just, if that's where your heart is, man, go for it. Cause and just the reward from being a producer was just, in my opinion, so much greater than, being a drummer and now, playing drums has definitely taken me all over the world. I've seen some of the most amazing things, but like it's nothing like being a producer and creating something amazing, and then you see all these people, hundreds of thousands of people singing and dancing and vibing to what you created, man. It's like making you be one accord with everyone. So, that's been like my best decision ever, which I have to thank you and, like I said, the guys, Nissan Stewart and I talked to Eric Seeds. Like they all y'all all gave me the same advice, man.
Well,
So,
I mean, first of all, bro, I of course, I'm glad we had that conversation, man, and I'm glad that you did it. I mean, and for everybody watching, it's never stopped forever, but the reality is, you hear all the buzzwords of, I want to make every musician, I want to make that mailbox money. Well, you have to do something with action. You have to put some action for that to happen. Yep. And instead of calling it struggle, we should start calling it investment, right? Because that's what we're doing.
Ooh, you're right. You're right.
We're stepping back and maybe walking away from some right now money for something that's a little bit more sustainable to really bring you to whatever that mailbox money looks for you. And I think that, I've never really seen it happen without struggle. I think in our business, it's fueled by struggle. You've never heard a story without a story. Regarding the time it took for you to step back a little bit, to kind of hone your craft and kind of get new again, it hasn't really been that long. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't really take that long. So at the,
Oh no!
Hold on. Yeah, man, it's all good. You straight? Everything cool?
Yeah. That's just Pearl trying to deliver my drums.
Oh. We call those Cadillac problems. It's okay. I'll take the call dropping for that any day. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's like, you step back and you have to take a few steps back to move forward. And that's pretty much with anything in life. We don't win without struggles. We don't get to the next level without trying. You don't win
Mhm.
without failing. These are all things that happen. You can't be afraid to do that. And guess what?
Yep.
One thing that Dr. Dre used to always say, and this is his story. He always says when he did the Chronic album, when it was a weird time and people didn't. It was ahead of what it was, and it was kind of
Mhm.
people weren't necessarily getting it. Apparently, I think all the labels may have said no except one, which I think was Jimmy. But this is the story he tells. But he says he had to bet on himself, and
Mm.
look where we would be if he hadn't bet on himself. He would have just said, "Oh, okay."
Man, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? That's a classic, right? So
That's real.
I think it's never wrong to bet on yourself, man. And you've been out here killing it. In this day and age, you're really in the height of it right now, and you're also in the time when all this technology is going crazy. So with the future of what's going on and the future of music right now, what's your take on AI? I mean, I know we know you can play, you got a great
I
feel.
love it.
Yeah, exactly. Give us your take on AI.
I love it, man, and it makes the job easier. I don't see it no different than anything technology-wise that has been given to us. I'm pretty sure when the drum machine came out, drummers was like, "Oh, man, you replacing me? You trying to take my job? Man, I'm the one who play the beats in the studio." You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they all said that, man. But, what I've learned is if you don't be a part of the evolution, you will get left behind.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be left behind. And past music, man, I've been using AI, dealing
Mhm.
with music. But past music, everything that it's doing now, that I've like just learned some new stuff, some new apps from Grants 1500.
Mhm.
And how it's organizing and
Oh, yeah.
putting everything together, man. Like you're creating an app.
Yeah.
You're creating apps and doing stuff. It's doing everything for you. It's making it easier. And that's what technology is. And I'm with it.
Yeah.
Now everything is going to have its ups and downs. And, people are people and people are going to use it the right way and they're going to use it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, that's not my
Yeah.
not my judgment call, but what it does for me, I love it.
And you are a proven creative before it, so it doesn't take
Mhm.
anything away from you, and you're gonna be a proven creative after it.
Well,
And
yeah,
I'm
because
a
you still
broken
gotta do the work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a broken
You know what I'm
record,
saying?
and Imma say it because I'm a broken record, but Imma say it again. If you were dope
Mhm.
before AI, you'll be dope after AI.
Yep,
Period.
you sure
Yeah,
will. You sure
so
will.
yeah, man. So it's like, I love, and once again, I can notch it off on the scale. Everybody who's cracking, who's a creative, has no problem with it. It's
Yeah.
always the people that are, not necessarily in the mix that got the loudest voice and they're in the comments the most. And then you go on all
Mhm.
music and it's like search not found. You don't exist on all music. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't never
Mm.
out. So what are we even
Mhm.
talking about? I was talking to somebody recently and it is probably going to come up in another interview. I just can't remember who it was, but they said something that was so cold. They said, "You don't need no tools if you ain't going to work."
Oh, man. That's a quote. That's a quote for
You know
real.
what I'm saying? So it's like everybody I know that's working, that I talk to, that's actually has output and delivering, has no
Mhm.
problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm glad you shared that with us, man. Well, I tell you, brother, I mean, you're a busy guy. I'm not going to hold you that much longer. A lot of people always like these things to go longer, and I try to explain to people, everybody I interview is really in it. So cats
Yeah.
and jobs and all kind of stuff going on. I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything you might want to plug. You know,
Well, I would just say, my main thing now is letting everybody know that I am a producer. That's what I'm really gonna work on as far as content wise this year more. I'm gonna do more of that because, you know, we used to have these shows on Tuesday nights and everything was already set up and I would always make little videos here and there. But I ended up taking a break when I moved out of that studio. Now that I'm in a new room,
mhm.
I'm currently like setting it up so I can get my content and everything up to par. But I guess really, everybody just look out for the music creating. I'm back in the studio, just got out the studio yesterday with Durand. So
Nice.
we're making more stuff. And like I said, after this Grammy win, man, a lot of cool people that have reached out, man. That's one thing I've noticed about the Grammy, man. It gives you a great amount of respect.
Yep.
Some of the people that I have actually reached out to before, tried to work with or collab or anything, they didn't really have time, or they probably didn't really take me that serious because it was like, oh, you're a drummer,
Yeah.
But now,
Right.
now that I kind of have those credits as a producer, man, like now people are like, oh man, let's pull up to the spot. Come on, let's collab, let's work.
Yeah.
It's it allows me to be in the room, which I'm grateful and thankful for. So I would just tell everybody I'm gonna be posting more content as a producer. So look out for the artist. Durand's gonna be putting out a new album pretty soon, within a month and a half.
Nice.
I got the girl group God. They're putting out a new album within a month. Um, and whoever else I end up working with. It's a lot of artists, a lot of cool people out here. So I'm down to work with whoever and create some great memories, great music. So
That's right. That's beautiful, man. Well, and another thing is, I want to ask you is just for the next generation, and now, with this blueprint that you're keeping going, thankfully, so
mhm.
eloquently, for the next generation drummer that wants to be a producer too.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell them that's just out here in LA? Like, man, I could play, but I want to get to this other level. I mean, I get DMs from people like, hey, man, can I send you some music and you get it placed and I cut you in and all, random people. It's like people really want to get into this. What's your advice
Mhm.
to these people?
My advice, man, I took one piece of advice from Timbaland, which I just recently worked with him 2 weeks ago for the first time, which was epic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one thing I took from him that he said years, decades ago, man, find you a writer or find you an artist to start with and create a vibe and a sound with them. Because chasing placements and all this stuff is cool. I'm not gonna lie, I got burnt out in that game
Yeah,
early
you
back
can do that.
when I got signed in 2012. Yeah, I got burnt out sending in records, and it was like, could you do something more like this? Could you do
Right.
something more like that? But when I found artists for me that I started with, we all started together. It was easy for me to create a sound and create a vibe, and the labels and everybody, they're attracted to that because it's new.
Yeah.
When you're a part of something that's already big, it's cool, and I've had some cool placements, but it's not sustainable to me.
Yeah.
It's more sustainable to me, like with my artists, Amy Seacrest and God and Pastor Funk, and like I can make records with them. We can constantly create and make records with them, and we're friends and we're cool, and it's just a vibe. And the audience and their fans, they can feel that, they can see that, so it keeps us going. Like I've been working with those guys forever. Polios, I've been working with them forever, and
Mm.
and building them, and whatever opportunities that do come from the bigger people,
Right.
I now have my team.
Right.
I have my team that I'd be like, yo, well, if you want me there, then I gotta bring Pastor Funk. I gotta bring the girl. I gotta bring Amy. I gotta bring Poe. Like these are my people who I work with,
Mm.
and this is the sound that you're hearing. So like, um, that's what I would say. Find an artist, man, that you believe and trust in, and and grow with them.
Yeah. That's dope, man.
Y'all learn this game together, man.
Yeah, man. That's real talk.
Hmm.
Well, you heard it here directly from the source. This is one of the cheat
Yes, sir.
for
Yep.
today. And it is really the cheat code in period. But,
Hmm.
that what he was referring to, as far as the big placement thing, which is always a thing, they have these lists of, who's looking. And by the
Oh
time you
man.
get it, it's always too late and outdated. And, it's a bunch of people trying to show that they working, those lists are
Uh-huh.
almost irrelevant 100% of the time almost, we need a
Man.
hit song. Well, doesn't everybody? Like, what does that really
Right. Right.
only
What does that mean?
only taking hits. Come on, man. Stop it.
Right.
So y'all heard it here from somebody who's fresh off 2 Grammy wins and is completely in the mix and also holding it down for one of the most important artists of our generation. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. At the end of the day, man, it's just a blessing to have you here, my brother. I'm so thankful that you came through, man. And,
Thank you, man.
feel free to always, you could come back whenever you want. You got something you want to plug, it's no problem.
For sure.
And, man, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mr. Stanley Randolph, let's hear it for him. Just a great brother. And I'm so proud of you, man, and just seeing everything you're doing. One day I'm gonna dust off my MP and come cook up with you too, man. And see.
Come on, Trev.
Pull up with you, man.
Come on. Yes, sir. I'm with it. I'm down for that.
Yeah, man. So thanks again, my brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
Thanks for watching the TrevBeats Show. I'm Trevor Lawrence Jr. and we out.
It's the TrevBeats Show and we out. We out. We out. We out. It's the TrevBeats Show and we out. It's the TrevBeats.